Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be working on a practice paper 1 exam for CSEC Spanish, of course, but this paper 1 is a demo test, a demo e-test to be specific, that was put together by CXC. So if you're not familiar with demo e-test, I'm going to show you how you can access this one and how you can access other practice exams, for other subjects that you might be working on. So first things first, can simply just type in CXC demo test or CSEC Spanish demo test or CSEC Spanish demo e-test, you get the gist. But this site will come up, the CXC website, and the page will be the demo e-test page. So we choose that. Then once you're on the site, you want to select specific exam. So we're going to CSEC. We're looking for Spanish, but as you can see, there are practice exams for other subjects as well. Quite a lot of them. All right. Spanish paper 1. So what I personally love about this paper, and you'll see and you'll hear as I work on it, what I personally love about it is that all the sections are included. So this is really good practice. For the first part of the paper 1, you'll be listening to different audio clips and you'll have to select images or phrases that correspond with what you hear. So usually teachers would have a script that they would read from when you're practicing during the year or during your mock exams, and you would have the answer sheet. But this practice test is really great because the audio files are included, so you have access to them and you can just practice this over and over again. There is no answer sheet at the end, so of course you'd have to practice, probably eventually work with your teacher, work with classmates, and just see if you're on the right track. But I'm doing this today to help out a bit with the answers, but I would seriously suggest that you do this on your own first, and then you watch this video to check your answers. Just putting that disclaimer out there. So I'm going to be playing everything because I want us to get the full experience of doing a paper 1. So even this first clip with the instructions will be played. All right, so enough of the background, let's get to it.
Caribbean Examinations Council, Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Examination, Spanish, Paper 1, General Proficiency, Part A, Listening Comprehension, Items 1 to 30.
This is the listening comprehension part of the multiple choice paper. You must listen carefully to the instructions and to each question which will be read. Section 1. Instructions. For questions 1 to 8, you will hear a single sentence for each question. Choose from the 4 pictures the one picture which best shows what the sentence says. Now get ready to listen to the questions.
All right, so we're going to start now, but what I'm gonna do first is just run through each of the 8 questions in section 1, and by that I mean we're just going to look at the images so that we can have an understanding of what to expect, or kind of look through, have an idea of vocab that should come to mind. So when you're doing your actual exam, you would just take a few seconds to skim through each so that you can familiarize yourself with the options before the reader starts reading the sentences. All right, 2 more. All right. All right, let's go.
Pregunta 1. No se sienten bien.
All right, so for number 1, we hear no se sienten bien. They do not feel well. All right. No se sienten bien. This is plural, so we're looking for more than one persons who appear to be sick. Best option is the final one, which would be D.
Pregunta 2. Los jóvenes caminan con su perro.
Los jóvenes caminan con su perro. So now this could be the boys walk with their dog, or it could be the children. So let's look at what we have. Let me just type out what was read. Sorry. Jóvenes caminan con su perro. So the only option that could, oops, I'm sorry. The only option that could work for this one would be the third option, C. Jóvenes has an accent over the O. Let's move on. Number 3.
Pregunta 3. Ambos van hacia el mar.
Start that out again. So we heard ambos van hacia el mar. Keyword in this sentence is hacia, which is towards. Right? Ambos is the Spanish word for both. So let me put that as well. So we're looking for 2 persons who are walking towards the sea. So here we see 3 people. Here we see 2 people, but we don't know if they're technically walking towards the sea because of the direction that they are walking towards. And so I'd say the best option would be C, because when we use both, we usually refer to 2 people, and we can see the direction that they're turned to, which is directly facing the sea. And then these 3 are walking away from the sea. All right.
Pregunta 4. Ellos van a comer enseguida.
All right. 1 second. Let's just replay this.
Pregunta 4. Ellos van a comer enseguida.
All right. So, ellos van a comer enseguida. I'm going to type out the keywords again. So just for the sake of vocabulary. Enseguida. So they're going to eat right away. Or immediately. So let's look at what's going on here. So we see different scenarios of persons who are preparing food, but this one would be the best option because these persons are being served food and we can tell that they're about to eat the food. So they're going to eat the food right away. Whereas the other characters are preparing food, so there's no guarantee that they're going to eat right now or be finished right away. All right.
Pregunta 5. Ella tiende la cama.
Ella tiende la cama. So we're looking for someone who is going to be making the bed. So in this case, tender la cama would be synonymous to hacer la cama, which is to make the bed. And so our option for this would be very evident, but I still wanted to type out the vocab. So our answer is A. Moving on.
Pregunta 6. Ellos miran mientras que ella le entrega el regalo.
Right.
Pregunta 6. Ellos miran mientras que ella le entrega el regalo.
I apologize for playing it more than once. I just want to make sure I type it out properly. Of course, on the actual exam, it would be read once, but I'm doing this because I want you all to see the exact sentence so that we can break down the vocab. So my apologies. So going to check if it was ellos or ellas miran mientras ella le entrega el regalo.
Pregunta 6. Ellos miran mientras que ella le entrega el regalo.
All right, lovely. So I should have a little care right here. So they watch as she presents the gift to someone, to whoever. Let's look carefully now. So we're looking for a picture where there are more than one persons watching as a female gives the gift to someone else. So just a quick grammar review, I'd say. Le in this case is an object pronoun, right? So le entrega. So she gives the gift to someone, all right? So right here we have a boy giving the gift or probably receiving. Right here we have a lady handing over a gift based on how she's holding it. You can see that she's handing the gift to the boy. And right here, we do have a female handing over a gift, but there's only one person beside her or in that space. So this would be the best option because you can see where there's a female, whichever one of these females handing the gift over, and then we have two additional persons watching. So you might not, one second. Yes. So you might say, oh my gosh, Candice, you're analyzing this a lot. But yes, because especially with the sentences where you have the keywords, like in this case, ellos, and then ella le entrega, those keywords are what will set apart 2 or 3 options even that seem extremely close. So I'm just breaking it down. Let's go to the next question.
Pregunta 7. El chofer maneja el autobús.
All right. El chofer maneja el autobús. So the driver drives the bus. Keyword, well, maneja, which is from manejar, which is to drive. So looking for a driver driving the bus. Best option, A. So you can tell that the bus is in motion. Next question.
Pregunta 8. Él está mostrándole la foto.
All right. Similar to the one that we did. Well, not just a while ago, the one before that. So, él está mostrándole la foto. Let's check again.
Pregunta 8. Él está mostrándole la foto.
All right, lovely. Lovely, lovely. So he is showing her, showing him, showing someone the photo. Best option would be A.
Section 2. Instructions. For questions 9 to 16, you will hear a number of sentences. Each sentence will be read and will be followed by one question or incomplete statement. There are 4 suggested answers for each question. For each question, choose the option which best completes the statement or answers the question. Now listen carefully to the questions in this section.
All right, great. So we actually got through section 1, which was with the 8 sentences, well, the 8 audio files we listened, and then we chose the appropriate picture. So now we're in a section where we just have to listen to sentences and see which phrase would fit best with what is being said or what's being asked. So let's proceed.
Pregunta 9. No me quedan bien. Son demasiado grandes. ¿Dónde está el cliente?
So this is asking us where the client is, right? And on the exam, you would actually hear these twice, but I will play them twice as well. So my apologies, I'll replay this. But this one is saying they don't fit me well.
Pregunta 9. No me quedan bien. Son demasiado grandes. ¿Dónde está el cliente?
Yes, they don't fit me well, they're too big. And then the question is, where is the client? So now when we talk about things fitting or not fitting, and the fact that we heard they're too big, we know that it's going to be some type of article of clothing, some type of footwear, and so the person has to be in a store. Best response is en la zapateria, in the shoe store. To go through the other responses or the other options that we have, en el hotel would be in the hotel or at the hotel. En la aduana would be in the, basically the immigration section of the airport. So that the customs section of the airport. So that section where they would check what you are bringing into the country that you're going into. Yes, my apologies, the customs section. En el hospital self-explanatory, but in the hospital. En la zapateria, in the shoe store, as we said. So I'm going to play this one twice before I comment on it.
Pregunta 10. ¡Ay, qué embotellamiento de tráfico! ¿A qué hora voy a llegar a casa? ¿Dónde está esta persona? Pregunta 10. ¡Ay, qué embotellamiento de tráfico! ¿A qué hora voy a llegar a casa? ¿Dónde está esta persona?
All right. So I probably should have said this at first. I know these audio files might sound a bit fast for some persons, but not to worry, because the person in your exam should be reading at a more moderate pace. All right. So in this audio file, the person is basically talking about the fact that there's a lot of traffic, right? So we heard keyword was tráfico. So if we're talking about traffic, the person is more likely to be in a car. And for the sake of going through the other responses or options, we have in the plaza, which is just square plaza, en el banco, bank, en su escuela, at school. So moving on.
Pregunta 11. Por favor, ¿tiene usted alguna medicina para el dolor de cabeza? ¿Dónde está la persona? Pregunta 11. Por favor, ¿tiene usted alguna medicina para el dolor de cabeza? ¿Dónde está la persona?
All right, so keywords or keyword. So even if you didn't catch much, this person was asking if the cashier, maybe the worker in this store, if they have any medicine for headaches, right? So if this person is asking that question, they're most likely to be in a pharmacy. So I'm going to just pause for a bit and just give some general ways to approach this section of this paper. I probably should have done this before, but since we're still talking. So we went through the first part with the pictures and we said, all right, we get the paper, going to look through the 8 when we are allowed to, of course, not before you're told to open the paper, and get an idea of pictures. Then when we were listening to hear the audio files for these pictures, let me just jump back a bit. We also made note of some keywords. So you might not be able to take down the entire sentence in an exam setting because you want to focus on selecting the answer and making sure you're not behind with what is being said, but you have to listen for keywords. Then to get back to this section, when you hear it twice, you hear each statement twice. It's the same principle. You want to listen for keywords, jot down keywords. So the first time, just listen, just take it in. And the second time, you want to make sure that there's some word or some words that you can use to distinguish between the different options that you have. All right, so back to where we are. Said the keyword for this one was la medicina. Person is asking if someone else has any medicine for headaches. So we said best answer would be en una farmacia, in a pharmacy. Other options that were presented to us: fábrica, factory; mercado, market; zapateria, shoe store. So moving on again.
Pregunta 12. Mi jefe no está aquí hoy. Está de vacaciones. ¿Quién habla? Pregunta 12. Mi jefe no está aquí hoy. Está de vacaciones. ¿Quién habla?
All right. So my boss is not here today. He or she, not sure if they specified. So my boss is not here. He or she's on vacation. Who would be saying this? So we have médico, visitante, cocinera, y secretaria. Best option would be secretary. This is likely to be said by a secretary. But to look at our other options, we would have had doctor, visitor, chef, or cook. So I made the best decision. Next one.
Pregunta 13. Raúl, tienes que salir ahora. Recuerda que necesitas llevar una toalla. ¿A dónde va Raúl? Pregunta 13. Raúl, tienes que salir ahora. Recuerda que necesitas llevar una toalla. ¿A dónde va Raúl?
All right. So in this audio file, someone is telling Raul that, need to go now, need to leave now. Remember your towel. So that would have been the keyword. Question was asking, where is Raul going? So we hear towel. So the best option would be a la piscina, to the pool. Reviewing our other options, a la escuela would have been, lo siento, a la iglesia would have been to church. A la escuela would have been to school. A la farmacia would have been to the pharmacy. Number 14.
Pregunta 14. ¿Por qué no vamos al partido de fútbol esta tarde? Según el periódico, va a ser fenomenal. ¿A dónde van estas personas? Pregunta 14. ¿Por qué no vamos al partido de fútbol esta tarde? Según el periódico, va a ser fenomenal. ¿A dónde van estas personas?
All right. So we have someone asking basically, why don't we go to the football game today? Based on what the newspaper is saying, it's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal. So of course, it would have been great for you to catch all of that. But if you didn't, the keywords would have been partido de fútbol. And the question at the end was, where are these persons going? So you hear football game, partido de fútbol, and we'd associate that with el estadio, the stadium. Or other options would have been to the cinema or the theater, a la plaza, square or plaza, a la playa, to the beach. Of course, we selected al estadio, to the stadium.
Pregunta 15. Pablo besó a Carlota y le puso un anillo en el dedo. ¿Quién es Pablo? Pregunta 15. Pablo besó a Carlota y le puso un anillo en el dedo. ¿Quién es Pablo?
All right. So, who is Pablo in this case? Keywords would have been beso and anillo. So Pablo kissed Carlota and he put a ring on her finger. This beso has an accent, of course. So let me just add that on so we're not confused. So Pablo is most likely to be Carlota's boyfriend. El novio de Carlota. Other options would have been el profesor, teacher or instructor, el abogado, lawyer, el enemigo, pretty similar to its English counterpart, enemy. So of course, we chose el novio.
Pregunta 16. ¿Qué día tan maravilloso? ¡Qué alegría! ¿Cómo se siente esta persona? Pregunta 16. ¡Qué día tan maravilloso! ¡Qué alegría! ¿Cómo se siente esta persona?
All right. So someone is describing how their day went, and they used the word maravilloso. At the end, they said que alegría, which would have been our keywords. So if someone is saying, oh, how wonderful, or this day was a wonderful day, what a delight, then this person is likely to be feeling happy. Accent again. Or other options would have been tired, frustrated, or surprised. Sorprendida comes from sorprender, which is to surprise, and of course we chose feliz, happy. And now we're moving on to another section that will require us to listen to some scenarios.
First selection. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles sobre la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando el resto de los animales. First selection. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles sobre la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando el resto de los animales.
Pregunta 17. ¿Dónde tendrá lugar la exhibición?
All right. So for this one, we're hearing an announcement, essentially, about an exhibition, una exhibición that is going to take place, que tendrá lugar en el Parque Dorado. So, very important vocab item right here, tener lugar, to take place. So the first question on this little passage, scenario, announcement, yes, that's the best word, announcement, is where is the exhibition going to take place? And that was directly said to us, so it's en el Parque Dorado, right?
Pregunta 18. ¿Qué deben hacer las personas que quieren ver la exhibición?
So what do the persons who want to see the exhibition have to do, or what should they do? So again, with this section, you would hear the announcement twice. Now, you want to, as soon as you're allowed to, jot down keywords again. So listen, just to take it all in, and then listen to jot down keywords. So for our sake, I'm going to go over this. But in an exam setting, you have to remember, listen, and then listen for taking down key points.
First selection. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles sobre la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando el resto de los animales.
Alrighty. So we heard a bit going on. So we have here, although we passed this already, that exhibition is going to be in El Parque Dorado. We jotted down our keyword. We know it's going to start at 2:30 if it was dos, or 12:30 if it was doce, but that's fine for now. And an instruction was given, which is that the persons need to come early, vengan temprano. So now we would have to know at least temprano. We're going to be looking for something that is similar in meaning to that. So llegar a tiempo would be to arrive on time, which essentially is to come early. The other options that we would have would be pedir información, to ask for information, ir a casa de los monos, to go to basically the monkey's house. And we know that this location was mentioned, but that's not the answer, because the instruction was that the viewers would need to come early or arrive at 3 o'clock sharp. So the best response, best option would be llegar a tiempo. All right, so we're back at number 19. And question was...
Pregunta 19. Después de la exhibición, ¿qué pueden hacer las personas?
After the exhibition, what can the persons do? So in the original audio, we heard that after the exhibition, persons can continue, viewing the other animals, right? And we also heard about La Casa de los Monos. No, the best response, I would say, is that they can go to the monkey's house or to the monkey's area, whether that's a cage, etc. Because that specific area was mentioned, that is one. And two, they were told that they could continue looking at the other animals. So this is the closest response. All right, so moving on to the next announcement.
Second selection. Atención, atención. Se informa a todos los clientes que dentro de 20 minutos empieza la gran oferta del año. Todos los productos, incluidos los que ustedes tienen en sus carritos, ahora estarán a mitad de precio.
All right.
Second selection. Atención, atención. Se informa a todos los clientes que dentro de 20 minutos empieza la gran oferta del año. Todos los productos, incluidos los que ustedes tienen en sus carritos, ahora estarán a mitad de precio.
So I'm just jotting down my keywords before we listen to the questions. And again, just to reiterate, with each section, as long as you are allowed to, or as soon as you are allowed to, you want to jot down your keywords. Yes, you also want to look through the questions and the options before you hear the audio files. Right. So 20.
Pregunta 20. ¿Dónde están las personas?
So where are the persons? We heard words like offer, we heard 20 minutos, we heard mitad de precio, we heard carritos, which would basically be, like your trolley, your shopping cart. Now, if you hear all of this, the persons who the announcement would be directed to are most likely to be in a store. Other options would have been hotel, church, autobus, bus. Next question.
Pregunta 21. ¿Qué va a tener lugar?
What is going to take place? We hear tener lugar again. Now, at the start of the audio file, we heard something about an offer that would be happening within the next 20 minutes. And they use back the exact same word. Una oferta could have also been una venta, which would be sale. So it's good to just know some synonyms or similar words. But moving forward, let's look at our other options, of course. So apart from offer or sale, we would have fiesta, which is party. We would have merienda, which is snack. Or we would have competencia, which is competition. So of course, we chose the best option.
Pregunta 22. ¿Cuándo va a tener lugar?
¿Cuándo va a tener lugar? So when is it, which is or offer or sale, going to take place? And this was said quite directly in 20 minutos. So dentro de 20 minutos, within 20 minutes. All right, so now that we're finished with previous section, we're moving on to a section where you're going to hear a longer passage. You're going to have a bit more questions to respond to based on that passage. Now, in your exam, the format that would be present is that you would hear the passage straight through once, so all of it once. You'd have some time to look through the questions, then you'd hear part A of the passage, look through your questions, part B of the passage, look through your questions, and then the entire passage. What I would suggest is that you use the very first time to become aware of the general idea of the passage. So you don't want to take too much time jotting down when you're listening to it at first. Just listen. If you are able to respond to questions after hearing it the first time, then sure, feel confident you can select responses, but then you would hear part A, then B, then the entire thing again. So that jotting down could really start happening when you're listening to the respective sections or the specific sections. So, and when you're allowed to, you would be skimming through all the questions in this section. It stops at 30. So on the demo test, they break the audio into 2 parts, but I'm still going to play it all together so you have a feel of what it would be like. So this is the first playing. Let's go.
A Dream Come True. Parte A. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Ella se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa por tener una boda muy feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana, de manera que Lola ya estaba lista a las 9:30 de la mañana. Ella estaba muy linda y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco, y en sus manos llevaba un hermoso ramo de orquídeas blancas. Se veía radiante de felicidad. Lola, sus padres y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una mala noticia en la radio.
Parte B. Ha ocurrido un accidente en el centro de la ciudad, en el cual 3 personas han resultado heridas, y Enrique, el novio de Lola, era una de esas personas. Lola, al escuchar la noticia, perdió el conocimiento y cayó al suelo. Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó también y sus amigas empezaron a llorar. De repente sonó el teléfono y el papá de Lola contestó. Era Enrique, y le dijo que había habido una equivocación en la noticia y que él estaba sano y salvo y listo para la boda. Lola supo entonces que ese sería indudablemente el día más feliz de su vida.
All right, so that was the entire thing. I'm going back to part A. And just so we have a feel of the strategy that I mentioned about just listening, we're not going to answer the questions until we hear the respective part. So we can look through. So listening to part A again.
A Dream Come True. Parte A. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Ella se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa por tener una boda muy feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana, de manera que Lola ya estaba lista a las 9:30 de la mañana. Ella estaba muy linda y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco, y en sus manos llevaba un hermoso ramo de orquídeas blancas. Se veía radiante de felicidad. Lola, sus padres y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una mala noticia en la radio.
All right, awesome. So looking through these questions. So 23 asks, why was Lola anxious when she woke up yesterday? No. In the passage, we heard that she was anxious because she wanted to have a happy and romantic wedding, right? So this is an extract from that line. Por tener una boda feliz y romántica. She wanted to have, a good wedding. She wanted to have a happy wedding. So she was anxious about the proceedings of the day. So why did she get ready at 9:30? Just leave the notes. So again, we heard that the wedding would begin at 10. She was ready by 9:30. So of course, this would be because she wants to be on time for her wedding. We didn't hear anything about, she wanted to see her wedding dress. Because we already heard that she was in a wedding dress. It wasn't to listen to the radio or to go to church per se. It was to be on time for her wedding. What did she carry in her hands? there was mention of un ramo de orquídeas. So a bouquet of orchids. So I would say that ramo is a really great vocab item to note, especially as it relates to weddings, other events. Orquídeas really sounds like orchids, the English counterpart, but I think it would be a better bet to just make a note of un ramo or el ramo and listen out for it in the context of wedding. So if this comes up again, you know that ramo is bouquet. I'm just going to leave the notes up. What happened when it was time to leave the house? Now at the end of part A, we heard the term malas noticias. So when they're about to leave the house, they heard some bad news. Oyeron, which is from oír, but this is a preterite form, of course. Heard bad news, and it was specifically on the radio. All right, just looking through what we selected. So now we're listening to part B.
Parte B. Ha ocurrido un accidente en el centro de la ciudad, en el cual 3 personas han resultado heridas, y Enrique, el novio de Lola, era una de esas personas. Lola, al escuchar la noticia, perdió el conocimiento y cayó al suelo. Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó también y sus amigas empezaron a llorar. De repente sonó el teléfono y el papá de Lola contestó. Era Enrique y le dijo que había habido una equivocación en la noticia y que él estaba sano y salvo y listo para la boda. Lola supo entonces que ese sería indudablemente el día más feliz de su vida.
All right. So what did they hear on the radio? In the first part of part B, we heard that there was an accidente in the city, right? So accident. And we heard that el novio de Lola, so Lola's fiance, was a part of the persons who would have been injured. So the keyword or the keywords, one, we have accidente. Yes, we also heard heridas. So they would have gotten injured, they would have sustained injuries. So he was a part of this group of people. So how did Lola react to the news? So we heard that she fell to the floor. Cayó al suelo. She essentially fainted. And when we re-listen to this, we'll see if they mention screaming and crying, but she definitely fainted. And there was another word that was used, but with Lola's mom, which was desmayo. Should have been a synonym as well. So desmayo is from desmayar, which is to faint. So I'm just putting that as a key vocab or additional vocab. What was Lola's father told on the telephone? So we heard the word, equivocado or something similar to equivocado. Now, when you hear equivocado, you think mistake, you think wrong, right? For example, if you say número equivocado, if someone calls you and you say that, you're telling them that it is the wrong number. So let me put that right here. We also heard that Enrique, el novio de Lola, was actually fine. He was healthy, saludable. He was fine, and then Lola was happy because she knew that it would be the best day of her life. So there was a mistake essentially with the news, and Enrique was fine. So our best option would be that Enrique was fine. What did Lola believe then? I kind of gave that away. But after she heard that Enrique was fine, he wasn't actually hurt, said that, she knew that this would be the best day or the happiest day specifically of her life. All right, so now we're going back to listen to the entire thing.
A Dream Come True. Parte A. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Ella se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa por tener una boda muy feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana, de manera que Lola ya estaba lista a las 9:30 de la mañana. Ella estaba muy linda y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco, y en sus manos llevaba un hermoso ramo de orquídeas blancas. Se veía radiante de felicidad. Lola, sus padres y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una mala noticia en la radio.
All right, so just going to recheck our answers. We're pretty clear on part A. Of course, both parts would be read together at this point, but since we can see them, all right, continue with B.
Parte B. Ha ocurrido un accidente en el centro de la ciudad, en el cual 3 personas han resultado heridas, y Enrique, el novio de Lola, era una de esas personas. Lola, al escuchar la noticia, perdió el conocimiento y cayó al suelo. Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó también y sus amigas empezaron a llorar. De repente sonó el teléfono y el papá de Lola contestó. Era Enrique, y le dijo que había habido una equivocación en la noticia y que él estaba sano y salvo y listo para la boda. Lola supo entonces que ese sería indudablemente el día más feliz de su vida.
All right, great. So just to go over these responses. So we're fine with this. We heard that some persons had been hurt and that Enrique was one of them. Yes, so it was Lola fainted, because when I re-listened to it, I paid specific attention to the fact that they said she lost consciousness, so she just fainted. That was it. She didn't just fall and started screaming and crying. She fainted. What was Lola's father told on the telephone? This is also fine as we have it, because Enrique himself called and said that he was, and I quote, sano y salvo. I think I used another word earlier. Apologize for that. So it was sano and salvo, which would basically be healthy and safe. Right? And of course, this remains. So we go through just to make sure we have everything. All right. So guys, we made it through part 1 of this paper. And based on the length of this video already, I am going to continue, of course, but I'm going to do part 2 in a separate video. So make sure, come back to this channel, click on the part 2 video so that you can get an understanding of the solutions for the rest of the paper. Now, if you found that this video was helpful, if you found that you learned something new, if it helped you in any way at all, please share it with someone else. Subscribe to this channel, ElAula Tutoring Services, if you have not already. And if you have any questions, any queries, feel free to leave them in the comments below or to reach out to me by email, elaulabycg@gmail.com, or by Instagram at ElAula, followed by 2 underscores, which would be at ElAula, followed by 2 underscores. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking it out, and I really hope that you learned a lot. And as I said, I'll be back with part 2. Bye.